My first claim is ICE has become a fascist institution and it should be abolished in its current form. What's up, y'all?
So the point that I want to make about immigration, ICE specifically, that I think is worth making is a structural one, and one that I think you could respect. And it's the fact that democratically speaking, it's been an issue that was not very popular before Trump came into power, and it was the central issue for which he was selected for the first time. And then the second time he doubled down, and it was an even stronger argument. You remember that the people in his rallies and himself were talking about mass deportations, and that idea won. What do you think is going to happen in the next election? Do you think that sentiment is going to disappear?
Well, look, we live in a constitutional republic, so just because you get elected on a certain issue doesn't mean you get to do whatever you want. If the next Democratic president ran on a campaign that said, shut down all the evangelical churches because I think they're doing hate speech, and they became president, and then they tried to shut down all the evangelical churches, people would say, that's fascist. That's wrong. You can't do that. That's illegal. What the president has done on the border, we can talk about what's happening with CBP, but with ICE, I don't think that a lot of people that voted for him pictured this. I think that if you described what they're doing in another country, you'd obviously say it's fascist. You got people coming up in unmarked cars. They are wearing masks. They're jumping out and they're asking people for their papers. That's not American. That is not within our traditions or our rule of law.
How should they deport them? Should they knock on the door and be like, hey, Mr. Illegal, can you come out?
Yeah.
You want to have a little chat?
Actually.
They broke the law. They came here into this country illegally, and we have to enforce it. So, if you're going to call ICE fascist, which you guys call everything fascist nowadays, then what are we going to have? We're not going to deport them, and then the people are going to be ignored?
I don't think we need to ignore the people. I think if you
look at let's have deportations.
There are a lot of Donald Trump supporters out there that don't like the way that ICE has been acting. You hear this from Joe Rogan. You hear it from Tim Dillon. What they have been doing is un-American.